6 rounds of boxing here. TJ DeSantis along with James Smitty Smith. Appreciate you joining us tonight for RJJ Boxing. Back once again on UFC Fight Pass.
When you're a Jones Jr., you have a lot of pressure on you when you're fighting on a RJJ Boxing show. So let's see how the young man does. Vera, started his boxing at 27 years of age, TJ. That's a real late start.
And no amateur experience either. Prided himself on his mental durability and said that he rolled with the punches here during the pandemic and was training at home, doing some Rocky-style training.
Man, is his chin wide open, though. I mean, he did a great job of wanting to be an orator yesterday. It was like Tony Robbins. We asked him a question, and he spoke for 25 minutes. Let's see if he can fight as good as he could speak. Works out really hard. He showed me some footage of him hitting this homemade bag on a tree or wrapped around something. It was a la Rocky-esque heavy bag. Told me how hard he has trained for this fight. Feels it's a great opportunity. Jones Jr. is a pretty slick fighter. 4-0, 4 KOs. I asked him to describe himself, TJ. He said, I'm like 3 guys. I said, okay, who? Triple G because of my jab, Canelo because of my counter-punching ability, and the hitman Tommy Hearns because I said, right hand? He said, yeah. I said, all right, we'll see what kind of right hand you got.
Those are 3 names.
Yeah.
He's got 4 names, all beginning with J. He was going to school for aviation and found himself studying boxing on YouTube instead of paying attention to the class. And now he's a professional boxer trying to pick up the 5th win of his young career.
He's got a tremendous height and reach advantage, but let's see if he knows how to use it. Always disappoints me when a guy has this kind of advantage and doesn't know how to use it. I believe you got to accentuate that kind of stuff. There are a few fighters who know how to get away with not using it, but it's always better when you're a guy of that stature to use that height and reach advantage.
And understanding that range, I mean, obviously you can work it in the gym, but I think the application of it is a lot different in an actual fight.
And what can really balance you up is that jab. Now, he mentioned the jab. Right now he's having a bad habit of leaning forward too much himself, and if you just sit back and use the jab, that'll balance him up. That's kind of a slapping left hook, nothing on it. There, work off that jab. That's what he needs to do. Work off the jab. Keep your opponent at the end of that jab. And for Vera, he needs to get underneath that jab and find a way to get inside. It's a clubbing right hand by Vera, but did no damage.
You can see Vera a bit tentative trying to figure out that reach of Jones. Now on the inside.
Landed a nice right hand, Vera did.
Round number 1 in the books between Jerome Jones Jr. and Mario Israel Vera. In talking to Vera, he was very proud of his mental durability. Think about that in this fight. Maybe he feels he can outlast Jones Jr. and, as long as the fight keeps going, maybe he feels a little swing in his side.
Well, again, starting at 27 years of age, I don't know how much boxing acumen he really has. No amateur experience.
Right.
So I think that's just to motivate himself. It sounds really good.
It does, and he says it well. We don't even speak Spanish.
Yeah, I know. He was motivating me, and I didn't understand part of what he was saying, but he didn't have a bad first round. He landed maybe the best singular shot. However, Jones Jr. I had winning that round.
Round 2 about to get underway. Jerome Jones Jr. prides himself on his stiff jab. We'll see if he looks to utilize that a bit more. We talked about his reach in round number 1. How do you feel he's using that length here thus far in the fight?
Not enough, but it was just round 1. We'll see how he does in round number 2. You want to get that jab going and get it going right away. There you go, just like that. The beauty of this no fans is with my big mouth, they should be able to hear me. Maybe they'll listen to me. There's a nice right hand by Vera. He sat down on that right hand. There it is again, except he's dropping it after he throws it. He lacks on technique, but I'll give him an A for effort the first 25 seconds of the round.
He's definitely motivated here to start round number 2. Left hand there by Jones Jr. Nice left hand there by Jones Jr. See Vera covering up, backing up a bit more.
Now, I like what Jones Jr. did with that left hand a second ago. He threw the first one as a regular jab and then a flicking one to blind the guy, however, didn't come back to punctuate it with the right hand. That's a nice uppercut. He saw that opening and slipped it through there. Back to the jab is what he needs to do. And I like the fact that he's not only throwing it to the head, but he'll throw a jab to the body at times, like that. It was interesting, TJ, interviewing these guys yesterday about the pandemic and what they've done and whether it's affected them. Some fighters said, oh, it's been a disaster, I can't get trained. But for other guys who said, no, it's been almost a plus because, you know, all I've done is train. And really, boxing should be the one sport where, despite a pandemic, I mean, they should be able to train all the time. You certainly can find a sparring partner or two. I mean, Rocky Marciano, when he would go into total seclusion and lockdown months before a fight.
A lot of fighters keep their circles small.
Yeah.
And that's smart. I mean, that's what you have to do here. 1 minute remains here in round number 2.
Now, Jones worked the body there on the inside, but he was looking straight down to the ground. You don't want to do that because you can't see what you're throwing, and you put yourself in a position to get hit by uppercuts. There he slips in a couple of nice body shots. I like his punch selection. Needs to work on the technique. There's a clubbing right hand again by Vera.
You can see the demeanor and posture of Vera change a bit here in the latter part of the second round. Made some shots there by Jones.
Yeah, he did the nice little Mickey Ward to the body, touched him to the head, and then went down to the body. Head, body, head, body, head, body with the left hook.
Big swing and a miss there by Vera.
There's a beautiful uppercut. Yep.
Right hand uppercut there by Jones a moment ago, but Vera still coming forward. Final 10 of round number 2. Two men exchanging body shots to end the second frame. Jerome Jones Jr., Mario Israel Vera. 2 in the books. We now look in the corner of Jerome Jones Jr. Kind of sum up that round a little bit for us, Smitty. Your thoughts on the output here?
Well, we'll see that Jones definitely landed some of the better shots. There he's doing a pretty good job of defense. There he places a nice uppercut. He's thinking in there, trying to get that right uppercut in there, and it lands, did some damage, followed it with a left hook. Won the round easily, both rounds. And I think if he would, set down a little bit more on his shots, set down a little bit more, might be able to get Vera out of here.
You can see the posture and demeanor of Vera change a bit in the latter part of that second round. We'll see how much he's recovered here as we enter round number 3. You can join in on the conversation tonight at Smitty Boxing, at TJ DeSantis, of course at UFC Fight Pass, hashtag RJJ Boxing. We're inside the clinch here. Vera trying to get some offense going. Really committing to that left hand, almost put himself off kilter. Really looping that left now.
I like that Jones is so tall, but he wants to work the body. He really thinks about it. Right there, he digs an uppercut and likes to find those hooks on the inside, like right there. What he needs to work on a little bit is, again, when he gets on the inside, either step to one side and work that side, or at least get your head to where you can go to one side or another and see what you're throwing at. Don't look straight to the ground. He's been able to get away with it against Vera, but he won't as he steps up in competition. And right now, he's kind of just working Vera over. And if he'd go down to the body, it would be a matter of time. I think he could. There's a nice body shot. A couple of more of those.
Vera in trouble, but trying to fire back. Not much landing flush there for Vera, but still has some fight in him. Can't afford to keep eating shots though like that.
Somebody's done a good job with Jones at teaching him to work on that. You don't see that tall guys like this going to the body that much. I love it.
Vera really on the defensive here. 90 seconds left here in round number 3.
Oh, he's working him over. It's a matter of time. Watch the right uppercut. There, he tried it, but missed it. See the posture of Vera. Looks like a guy in survival mode, doesn't he? Ah, beautiful shot to the body, solar plexus.
And another left hand there by Jones. Touch over a minute remains here in the third. Very confident here is Jones. You can see being patient here, trying to find the opening and opportunity.
Yeah, that left hook really did some damage. Watch, he should go back to the right hook, the right side of the body, because Vera's protecting that left so much. Left side. Oh, he digs a nice double shot.
Combination here by Vera trying to answer some of this offense from Jones. Less than 30 seconds remains in the round.
Not textbook combinations by Vera, but he's hanging in there and trying. Jones continues to work him over. Surprised we haven't seen a knockdown yet with all the good body work by Jones, but it's coming.
Halfway point of this fight, 3 down, 3 to go. Jerome Jones Jr. in control of this one. Credit to Mario Vera for lasting and continuing to fight, but Jones has really come alive with a variety of strikes, and we're starting to see them pay off.
And if you look in the corner, Jones looks nice and relaxed, but I'm glancing over to the corner of Vera. First off, there they have his arms up on the ropes, which is a no-no. They should have his arms down at his side so he can get the blood flowing. Here, action in round number 3, and it's all Jones. Head and body, a lot of body work. Digs the left hook to the body, comes back with a jab. Little left hook. And I like the fact that he doesn't throw everything hard, TJ. And some fighters get away with it, and they're excited. Every punch is hard, but as you go up, you need to place your punch and your pacing of your shots, and it creates a lot more openings and damage when you know when to really set down on a shot and when to take off a shot to set up even a bigger shot.
We talked about the mental strength of Mario Vera, but this is a physical game, and the physical fatigue, I think, has taken over. How much would you implore Jones to get his offense going and maybe take some risks here in the 4th round?
You know, the fact that he's 4-0 with 4 KOs and everybody's just getting back in, and I think the rounds will do him some good. He hurt him with that shot. Uppercut really hurt him. I think referee's going to look. I don't know if he's complaining about a thumb. Down he goes. I don't know if he got hit in the eye or the nose, but something bothered him from the uppercut.
He definitely disengaged there, and now standing.
He'll be hard-pressed to make it through this round anyway. He was really taking a thumping and a thudding in the last round. Let's see. He'll go back to that uppercut with the way Vera's coming in there with his head down. Come underneath. He's trying to. Good body shot. Yeah, that's it.
Vera disengaging. He's definitely hurt. That's a wrap. It is done. The referee has seen enough. Quadruple J Jerome Jones Jr. getting it done tonight in San Carlos. Nice bit of work over the course of 3 rounds and some change there, Smitty. Bright future for this young man. A lot of good things, I think, to take away. He picks up the 5th win of his record and the 5th straight by knockout.
Yeah, you know, the fact that he told me his favorite fighter is George Foreman was interesting. A kid 25 years of age mentioning George Foreman after those names he dropped regarding his style impressed me.
Well, you had to ask him if it was the grill or the fighter a little bit.
Yeah, or the money that George made, or the fact of how long of a career he had. But he has a lot of potential. He's got power in both hands. He's fundamentally sound. He's a good-looking kid, and again, what I like so much about him is, given his stature, the fact that he works the entire body impressed me.
Very game was Vera. He prided himself on his mental durability, but again, this is a physical game, and one that when you start to tee off the way that Jones was in that fight, I don't care how tough you are, the end is going to come eventually.
Yeah, and there was a lot of damage done in the prior round, but you see him constantly trying to go underneath. He had hurt him before this, digs a right hand to the body, comes over the top, places a solar plexus shot, and the coup de grace was really happened earlier when he was hurt. That was just the punctuation point, I'd call it.
All right, that is a wrap. Let's get the official time of the stoppage. Here is Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout concludes with an official time of 1 minute, 1 second of the fourth stanza. Your winner, by way of KO, still undefeated, Quadruple J, Jerome JR Jones Jr.